So now we can start asking the real questions. Wagon or saloon, estate or sedan or whatever you want to call them. Which one? They're pretty close on colour, aren't they? They're actually a lot closer than I thought they would be. And I automatically assumed that the metallic blue would be nicer, but the midnight blue is quite nice as well. It's too difficult to choose between, isn't it? The saloon, the sedan, it's just got such a nice style to it. It's got such a nice shape. It's got the coolness factor. But the wagon has got such a nice style to it, such a nice shape. It's got the coolness factor. So how can you choose between them? I used to be an estate man before I had any 240 at all. Before any Volvo, I was always, oh, it's got to be an estate. If it's an old Volvo, of course it's got to be a wagon. You'd be crazy to not have a wagon. That's the whole point of them. And then I owned a saloon, and I think like a lot of you guys as well have said the same. Once you own a saloon and you get used to the styling and you get used to the shape and how cool they look, it changes things somewhat. And yeah, no, you gotta have both. It's the only way. It's the only solution. You've got to have both in your life.
It's a tricky one.
It's difficult not. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's difficult not to be biased because Lily is Lily.
Yeah, exactly.
She's part of the family.
I feel like I have to say Lily is better because it's Lily, but they both have something.
One thing that we've both been agreeing on, I actually thought it on one morning and she actually said it later that afternoon without...
No.
What?
The name.
No.
We did agree on a name.
No, we didn't. You want
Bluebell.
Bluebell
Or Magnus.
or Magnus.
Magnolia.
What's the matter with you? No, the thing that I thought and then she said later in the day was that a 240 wagon just has like a homely look to it. It just looks like home. It feels like home. I don't know if it's because it was what we started out with on the channel or what it was, but I don't think so. I think it just has that look. It just looks like home.
Yeah, and it looks like it wants to go on a big camping trip
Yeah.
through all the fjords and...
There's a day to use this, and then there's a day to use this, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
So you got to have both, isn't it? That's the only answer. You can't choose between.
No, I can't choose.
I just noticed something as well. Before I said I was going to paint this, but I've just seen it's shiny silver. Someone did comment the other day that this underneath is stainless steel that's just been painted over black. So maybe I shouldn't paint it and I should take this paint off. Like the guy said, use some kind of paint stripper, paint remover, and actually get this black off. And then I'd have a shiny silver door frame to go with, you know, all the rest of the chrome trim on the car, which just looks fantastic. Maybe I should do that. Maybe we should try it. I don't think I've ever seen that before. This all removed to expose all the chrome. I bet that would look lovely, or would it be too much? One thing I do need to do, this very nice grille. It's got the chrome inside as well. And on Lily, it's the standard one with the black in the middle. I might pinch this and put it on Lily, at least just to see how it looks. Child's play, isn't it? Working on these things. Does look nice, doesn't it? Makes it stand out more, doesn't it? Which doesn't have the Lambda Sonde badge anymore, so it will make it look different in that way as well. But I need the badge on there, definitely need to put the badge on, but definitely makes the grille stand out more, doesn't it? The grille seems to protrude more somehow, doesn't it? I think it just pops. Well, we can't really decide anything until we try it out with the Lambda Sonde badge as well. I was expecting at least a nut and bolt, but it's literally just a clasp. Just unhook it, he says. But yeah, it's just 2 tabs that hook over. And then it's free. Too easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's on that one. No? Yeah. It's like that. So the top one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Height wise. Doesn't really matter. It's a bit like there, I would say. To look nice and symmetrical. Something like that. Tell you what, it's not hard to steal one of these. Shouldn't say that on the video actually, because I don't want any of you to get your Lambda Sonde badges stolen, but it's literally, you push it, you pop it, you put your finger in and pop it out. That's just way too easy. Anyway, it's just made it just a little bit nicer. More chrome is always good, isn't it? More chrome the better. I've had this car for 2 years and love it to absolute pieces. We've bought this car recently and it needs a lot of work, and we don't know, what we're going to do with it and when we're going to do it, and there's a lot. It needs an engine, it needs welding, it's a proper project car. And that's bollock hair away from being a parts car, but I've decided to save it because it's a 240 wagon and I don't want to go breaking one if there's not a very good reason to, even though I do actually need quite a few of the parts for this car, but I'm going to save it. But yeah, I think a grille swap isn't going to hurt anyone, is it? So before I chuck the cover over this thing for a little bit of time until we get the engine and the welding machine and all that, I am just going to have a quick look at the engine, at the block, just to see if I can see anything obvious what's happened there. I'm not going to take anything apart, but I'm just going to have a quick look over it. So the story is the heater core hose burst on the previous owner, engine overheated, but he managed to pull over, get a new hose on it, fill it up with coolant and keep on driving. But then shortly after, he started getting quite loud engine noise, and then he's taken it to a garage and they have said that it's suffered oil failure somehow, and there's a problem. They think it's a problem with one of the crankshaft bearings or rod bearing or something that's failed in the engine. I don't know how they've come to the conclusion that it's a bearing. They haven't taken the sump off or anything like that, so they've just taken the head off. So yeah, not sure. Won't turn. Won't turn at all. It's seized up. Oh, it's going. I'll just put something on the cylinders there just to ease it along. Oh, there it's going. It was stuck there for a moment. The cylinder walls look fine. There's some marks where the pistons were sat for a bit of time with the engine open, but there's still the cross hatching on the bores, and there's no scoring or anything like that. If I rock the engine back and forward, should be able to feel it. If there's something loose there. Like you'd get movement in the crank before the piston moves, sort of thing, but if it was a rod bearing that was loose or something. But all that feels good. Yeah, I don't know, that's weird. I don't know how they determined it. Can't hear anything, can't see anything, can't feel anything. So I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to chuck a cover on it now because I don't know when I'm going to get to it. And some of you will say, oh no, don't put a cover on it because it's bad for the paint and all that kind of stuff. But, well, this thing needs a good polish anyway. And we've got more important things to worry about, like this. So I'm probably going to spray some WD or some fluid film or something into that just to slow things down. But yeah, like, we don't want it constantly wet, and it is constantly wet here, so I think we'll take any scratches that the cover might give us. I think that's far easier to deal with than if the rust keeps spiraling out of control. Obviously water's going to get past the windscreen probably, because you know what these things are like. And yeah, so we just don't want that, do we? I mean, there's water going to be getting in there probably, or soon. It's bad, isn't it? So we want to get something on that to preserve it. There's parts where it's started to rust through, there's holes on it, which doesn't take very long on a 240. There's not really surface rust, is there? It's just hole straight away. And it could have been prevented. There would have been a chance to stop it from getting out of hand, but it's just been left and the holes very quickly appear. So not to say, you know, I'm an expert, I know what I'm doing, but guys, you got to do something. Just like Eric at South Main Auto says.
Do something, folks. Do something. That's what I tell myself. Gotta do something. I don't know what, but you gotta do something.
He's also a massive fluid film enthusiast. And yeah, he said, you got to do something. It doesn't have to be fluid film, but just do something. And I couldn't put it better myself. Yeah, it doesn't look as good as it did when I bought it, but it's protected. I got layers of stuff on. I got the chassis paint, the Branthos on there. And yeah, like this part, all this has been fluid filmed and then permafilm, black permafilm over the top. So yeah, and this is liquid fluid film that's starting to creep over, bit of overspray and that's creeping over. All this is fluid film. And then up in the back, I've got, believe it or not, it's transparent permafilm. I need to do the suspension a little bit more, but all the frame, we know how it can go so badly at the back of a 240. So all that's been greased up good. So there shouldn't be any water getting through anywhere. And yeah, hopefully she will last. I've really spent the time on it to try and keep it nice. So yeah, I know I talk about it a lot, too much really, but it's so important, guys. You know, these things, especially these 240s, not galvanized. There's a reason why there's not so many of these left, and they're starting to increase in value now and starting to get rare and starting to get very expensive because they're disappearing. Like that was so very nearly a parts car because of its problems. Doesn't take much because we know these engines will live forever and the whole car will live forever, but the rust will get it straight away. To be honest with you, I think I need to take that cover off because we have an engine almost on its way. It's on a pallet. just needs to be strapped down, a few extra pieces put with it, and then it's going to be sent on its way to us. So yeah, I'm really excited for it, so we'll be able to get started on that soon, so I'll see you for that one.